What if working harder isn't the answer? In this episode, I'm going to talk about the problem with leaning in and why overperforming won't get you more. And today, I'm going to talk about the problem with leaning in, why overperforming won't get you more. This is a little bit of research. This is a little bit of my personal experience, and this is a little bit coming from my clients. You see, for years, there's some very famous people who have been telling women, lean in, work harder, just take on more. You have to prove yourself at every turn. But here's the uncomfortable truth with that. Leaning in often just means you do more for less reward. And this keeps women in a cycle of overworking, over delivering, and still feeling overlooked. So today I'm going to talk about why this matters, the hidden cost of overperforming. I'm going to break down how overperforming actually can equal burnt out, not recognition like we think it could. And I'm going to give you a new perspective that you can take with you and some really actionable next steps. Sound good? Well, let's go through it. First, I'll maybe share a little story of how two things. One, I can remember working for a temp agency, getting put on this job to cover reception. And it's funny because I've always prided myself on how fast I can do the work and how well I can do it, and just surprising people with how fast I can do things. And what happened was I had a certain amount of work that I had to do, and I thought, and I was doing reception, so I thought, well, it's quiet right now. I'm gonna do this task. I'm gonna do this task. I'm gonna do this task. And I worked so hard, so fast, I ended up with no work to do. I then had to just sit there. And so I moved to sweeping the floors, wiping down everything, washing their bathroom. And they were horrified. They were like, it was an office. It was like a bus repair or a place that sells buses, rents buses. I'm not sure fully. I wasn't there for very long. But anyway, it was interesting to see how I didn't read the room. I didn't really know what was expected. And so I went hard and I went fast. And that's really always how I've been. It's how can I get this done more efficiently? Because that's such a huge value of mine. And it was really funny how it actually wasn't the greatest for me. So that was one temporary experience. I know that's different from overperforming at your main job, your daily job. And the other one was working for this Canadian company. Actually, it wasn't a Canadian company, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Working for this company, and I pride myself again on working hard and working quickly and doing a phenomenal job. But what ended up happening was they saw I could do more and they gave me more. And then another person in the same position had less work than me. And then they would come to me for help. And then they decided that I could do both jobs because they were going to go and do something else. And then they had less work. And then they were able to kind of schmooze, connect with the employees more. And so when it came down to who was going to pick up our boss's job, they got it. And they got it. I'm not going to say because they're a man, but in the culture that I was working in, it probably made sense. But there was an opportunity there for them to be able to step forward because they were using their time to connect with others. Well, I used my time to basically overperform and just kept getting more and more work put on me. Now, you can imagine the hidden cost of that for me, the fact that I got so much work and the fact that I then didn't have time to do the other pieces that aren't part of my job description, but were really crucial to me moving forward. And so in hindsight, it actually worked out for the best because I did not want that position. But at the time, it was really upsetting for me. So let me talk about why it matters and the hidden cost of overperformance. So high achieving women, we know how to get things done. There's that expression, right? If you want something done, give it to someone who's busy. And that's just because we have only so many hours and so we can't mess about. But there's a fine line between being like really excellent at your work and being the person that everyone relies on, like my story, dumping more and more and more, where you're always the one fixing things, having to step up, going the extra mile. People start to expect that you not only will do your job, but more. Not only your tasks, maybe, but others. And not only be responsible for your own, but for helping everyone else get their tasks done too. And it's not just in the work environment, but it's in every area of life. People are going to look to you as the person that they can ask for help and support. And you see, what's worse than this is they stop seeing this as you going above and beyond, about you kind of being exceptional and that they should be super grateful for how you perform. And instead, they see it as standard. This is how they function. This is how you work. You're always going to be able to do 60 hours of work within 40 hours because you work so quickly. The result of that, you have no breathing room at all, no buffer space, right? And then you stay stuck, kind of like I was. They give you more responsibility, but no more recognition. It was like I had to fight for myself and say, you, you had two of us doing half of this role, right? Because we had so much feedback to give and so much to watch and evaluate. And we did half and half each because there was just such a big load. And then it just became, oh, Diane can handle it all. Great. And so then you're getting more hours for the same paycheck. I don't think people realize that. More effort, right? But you still want a seat at the table. But they see that they can get more from you. And that's not just in a corporate place, but it's from your clients, it's from family, it's from neighbors and friends and your kids' sports team, music class, the teacher. Like it just goes on and on and on. And while it is an honor to be asked, it is oftentimes that when we lean in and we take on more, we burn out. So let's challenge this narrative. So instead of leaning in harder, what if we leaned back strategically, right? We said, okay, these are the things I'm going to do. These are the things I'm going to step back from. It's interesting. When I started doing this, I started saying no to different opportunities, fabulous opportunities, but just my plate was too full. And I remember saying to a group of people who wanted me on their board, and I've probably talked about this before, and I said, I just can't. I'm really busy. And their response was, we're all busy. And it was quite interesting because I was the only one with young children. And it was hard for me to be leaning back and not taking on more because my old way of doing things before kids definitely was, you've asked me, I'm saying yes. There's an opportunity, I'm going for it. There's something that could be done, I'm adding it in. But let's break this down. Overperforming often equals burnout, not recognition, not more awards, not more pay, not necessarily even the promotion. Over delivering doesn't guarantee success. Fully leaning in doesn't guarantee success. You know what it guarantees? Exhaustion, burnout, maybe anxiety. And here's the kicker. You see, the people who get promoted, paid more, recognized, aren't always the hardest workers. Just like my story, right? They're the ones that know how to make their work visible without constantly proving themselves. Hmm. I didn't walk around talking about how great I was. I didn't walk around talking about how all the work I did. I just got it done. Put my head down, got it done. I didn't make a big deal of it, right? Second thing is they set very clear boundaries. So they're not doing work, either beneath their level or out of the scope of their roles and responsibilities. Every job description has roles and responsibilities. I'm not saying don't do work beneath your level, don't do things outside. There are definite times where you have to just step up and get things done. But setting those clear boundaries of saying, no, what my day is done, or oh, like thank you for asking me to do that. What do you want to take off my plate so I can get that done? This type of language is not necessarily easy for a lot of women to say, to ask, or to get advice on, right? And the third thing is they own their value instead of waiting for someone else to acknowledge it. And a lot of times, high achieving, overperforming women are super confident, but on an external level. So they get their value from other people saying they've done well and other people acknowledging their work, where we have to go internal. And that's where we have to get our value from. And when I've talked so many times this quote, I should almost frame it. But the quote is from Business Insider that says men and women view their success differently. Men attribute their success to their innate skills, their skills that come naturally. So their skills and their innate skills and talents. Women attribute their success to luck and help from others. So how many times this whole own your value, how many times have women said, oh, thanks. I couldn't have done it without my team, my family, my husband. Oh, I didn't do it all myself. Oh, it just happened. It all worked out. Rather than being like, yeah, I did a phenomenal job, which many times a man will say, and I'm not poo-pooing a man in this regard. I'm saying, good for him. Women, let's do it too. So women who, and not all women are not doing this, right? A lot of women are owning their success and their personal confidence, but women who get ahead don't just do more and don't necessarily do more. They position themselves differently, right? So they're making their work visible, they're setting clear boundaries, and they're owning their value. So I hope you're gaining from this new perspective of stop doing more, just start being seen. Well, a lot of times on social media, I post things and I don't post everything that I'm doing, but it's funny because people will say, wow, you're doing so many incredible things. It's just that I share it. But so many people say, I don't want to seem like I'm bragging. I don't want to seem egotistical. Well, that just comes in the writing of the posts. It can be, I'm super grateful, feeling blessed that, proud to share, humbled by, want to share a joy, right? It doesn't have to be like, hey, everyone, I'm the best. So I encourage you, instead of taking on more things in your life just because you're asked, or just because it seems like the next step, or just because it's an expectation, get more strategic about where your energy goes. Stop being the go-to person for things that don't move you forward. And so it's funny when I said to them, well, I'm really busy. I just can't. They said, well, everyone's busy. And I said, well, it's just not going to fit in my life right now. And they said, are you worried that you can't do it? I said, no, I know I can do it. And it's funny that I had to like speak up for that. But I said, no, I will do it. I would do it. And I would do a fantastic job. I definitely have the skills. It's just not in my path right now. It's not in my plan right now. I don't have the time or the energy for it. Right. And I want to be able to do a great job at a few things rather than kind of a so-so fair job at many things. So stop saying yes to work that doesn't get you paid or promoted. Stop saying yes to volunteer positions that aren't going to not only, it doesn't have to always help you or move you forward, but does it bring you joy or satisfaction or a place where you get to use your skills? Or is it more dissonance where it feels like sandpaper and there's friction and it's not enjoyable? So stop thinking that if you just keep proving yourself, someone will eventually notice, because there are so many people in all the industries that are like the best kept secret, right? Because the truth is, no one rewards quiet excellence, quiet achievement, quiet confidence, even. When people get to know you, they'll respect you more for not walking around and telling people and sharing. But it's as simple as this. It's as simple as someone saying to you, hey, Jenny, how's it going? And rather than just like, oh, it's good, or oh, my kids did this, or I had the worst day, or look at the terrible rain. Why don't you share something cool that's happening with you? Oh, I'm great. I'm just finishing off a book that I wrote. Oh, things are awesome. I just landed a few new clients. Oh, thanks for asking. Like life is really good. I have full practice and some speaking engagements that I'm really excited about. Tell them what's happening in your life. So here are some specific actionable takeaways because we don't want you to be working harder. We want you to be more intentional about where you apply your effort so that you and your effort get to go somewhere and get to reap the rewards. So let's shift from let's work and let's lean in all the time to let's lean back and let's go into leader mode. So here are three things that you can do. Stop over delivering. Make sure if you're in a job, it's so clear what your roles and responsibilities are and the key performance indicators that go along with that. So, for example, if one of your roles is to reply to emails, well, what is the standard? What's the key performance indicator? All emails must be replied to within one business day in a professional manner, blah, 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 right? Just do what is asked of you. You don't have to always go above and beyond for people for the sake of proving yourself. Yes, you can help people. I'm not saying that. But when you get stretched so thin because you're doing other people's work or other departments or people below you, you're helping them out so much. It's if that's for the sake of proving yourself, you're actually going to look worse because you're not going to be able to deliver on the things you already have to do. Your overperformers, often excellence is at the top front, right? Excellence. And this should be a choice for you. It's not an expectation of others that they will take advantage of you. So just because they're not going to put an excellent standard into place doesn't mean you have to up their standard to excellence. The second one is get comfortable asking for what you deserve. I should have been on a path earlier in that job, though in hindsight, again, I'm glad I didn't get it, the promotion. I should have asked for what I deserved. When I took on two people's roles, I should have asked for a pay raise. See, oftentimes high achieving women, we assume that our amazing work speaks for itself, but it doesn't. So we need to advocate for ourselves, whether that's a raise, a leadership role, simple recognition. We have to advocate. We have to tell others. So start writing down all the fantastic things you're doing and share. If you have your own business, share them on social, share them on your website, make them milestones on LinkedIn, have pictures of it, have a brag book for yourself. For those of you in a corporate position or working for a company, keep track of all these things. If you have someone that sends you a glowing email back, or you have wins, write them down, track them, have them there so that you can walk in for that raise or the promotion or whatever it is that you're looking for. And the third one, move from execution, doing, leaning in, working harder to strategy, that lean back, right? Leaders aren't just the best at doing the work, they're the best at directing the work. So shift your focus from being the best worker to being the best strategic leader, or even just being a strategic leader. You don't have to be the best. So what do you want to do? Do you want to continue to lean in and overperform with the risk of not really gaining what you're wanting and getting pushed into burnout? Probably not. So think, do I want more effort or more strategy? More effort or more strategy, right? The goal isn't to stop working hard. It's just that to make sure that when you work hard, that it counts towards what you're wanting, what your goals are, what your ideal life is for satisfaction. Let's not lean into mindless activities. Doing that is going to lead you to exhaustion, but instead, lean in strategically. Lean in by focusing on visibility, positioning, and setting boundaries with people, because that's how you're actually going to get ahead. So I'll leave these questions with you. How much more can you realistically do? How much more can you do? Or are you already too full that you know you got to drop things off your plate? And what are you willing to stop doing? Where are you willing to stop leaning in so that you can actually move forward? Hmm, big questions there. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode. You can email me, Diane at Diane Rolston, or leave a comment on one of the social platforms where you heard this podcast. And if you weren't aware, we also I record these on video so that you can catch them on the Diane Rolston YouTube channel. And they also get turned into blogs that you can get on the dianerolston.com blog. We'll make sure we drop both of those into the show notes. Share this with a friend, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any. If you're not on my list yet, now's the time to do that, because we're going to be dropping some really cool opportunities for you to be able to work with me and get a tax receipt. Now, a lot of you who are already in business are like, that's easy. I know how to do that. Those of you who are not, we're actually going to be able to make it like a donation. Okay, so just stay tuned for that. Get on my email list to be able to do that. And you can do that by going into the show notes, and you will see in there a really cool ebook or something I'm giving away that will get you access. Okay, until next time, everyone, stay dynamic. Bye.